All right, episode 4 of We Can't Code. This is a podcast for people that can't code, like myself, Ben, and Mike as well.
That's me.
But yeah, this podcast is for gamers and just
Well,
games,
it's for
pretty much.
everyone. It's for everyone, but most of the time we talk about games. We also sometimes lean into movies and other subjects when we're not things to talk about in the
Yeah,
podcast. But we always like to start off our segments though with what we've been playing with, and we kind of have a set mind already. But so I'm gonna start first.
yeah, Mike, you've been
And,
playing The Evil Within. How's that going?
yes. So during the last podcast we talked about this, I was dreading it, and the game, I actually beat it, and I have to say, I want to like the game. I really do. But man, it falls on so many, it does things well and does things interesting, but it falls in so many places at the same time.
How so?
So, a great example is like, there's a scene where you're getting, there's a whole chase scene where you're in a bus, and there's a giant monster chasing you. Awesome scene, great, but it was really fun to deal with. But then there's a huge break in the middle where you have to fight off a wave of basic enemies, and it was just really just a bullshit fight though. You just wasting all your ammo, and it wasn't scary, it wasn't intense. It was just annoying because it just kept on coming over and over again, and it was annoying because another thing. Well, no reason why it was annoying though too is that sometimes in the game it wants you to just run or actually stay and fight. And it's really hard to tell what it wants you to actually do. So when I was first doing it, I was like, am I supposed to be looking for something to get out of here, or am I supposed to keep on shooting all these things? And I was supposed to keep on shooting them. But yeah, so that's like my issues with it, because like it does things well, then it just drops off. And others like, because I want to like the game. It just falls on so many levels though. Just like the enemies are, a lot of like the enemies are bullshit compared to other ones. Like, when you start playing the game, you run into the basic enemies where they're just humans, well, humanish, and they die pretty easily at headshots. As you continue then, you run into these guys with white masks, so you can't instantly like one-shot their heads off as easily because you have to chip away the mask sometime.
Right.
And then
It's
after
like
that,
armor.
yeah, it's like basic armor. And then was just totally fun. I think, oh, it's a cool mechanic, easy to understand. But then all of a sudden, you run into these guys that have body armor. I'm like, oh, okay, but with the white mask, the same white mask. I'm like, okay, so I can't really just shoot them in the chest. I just have to take them on the head. But no, you can't shoot them in the head because for some reason, all of a sudden, their mask is now bulletproof. It's the exact same mask. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? So I thought it was just the game glitching or something, because that's what sometimes happens during the game too, which I'll talk about later. And it finally took me like a good 3 tries to realize, oh, it's actually a different mask. It's bulletproof, but it is the exact same mask, which was just really annoying and took me out of the game. It was only later in like in maybe like 3 parts in that same level where they switched the mask to black. So all the guys wearing the SWAT vests had a black mask. I'm like, they should have done that to begin with, so then it was easy to identify that, oh yeah, it's a different mask. It's actually... Which was just... It was so irritating. And this happens again, too, with this... I don't know if he's really a boss. He's like the safe head. You remember the safe head when you played the first one?
Yeah, the keeper. He's like he's the main bad guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a cool enemy.
Yeah, sorry.
He's not really a main bad guy. He's a really awesome design character. Because like how he worked was, I'm gonna give in spoilers, but this game is really old anyway, so I'm not gonna try to avoid spoilers.
3 years old with a sequel that just got released. I mean, do what you want.
Yeah, I guess so. But basically, he has a really cool mechanic that you can kill him, but the thing is with him is that there's a bunch of other safes allocated throughout the level, so then he just moves to another safe and just reforms himself again.
Yeah, I remember this boss battle.
Yeah. And which I thought was a totally legit, and he was actually a very fair boss fight. I thought he was very well balanced, put together. I actually really enjoyed fighting him. But then I'd run into these issues where my hits wouldn't actually count on his body, which didn't make any sense. Like, I would hit him the exact same spot. And I knew this because I'd be using a crossbow to kill him, and every single time usually it always take just 2, like majority of the time. For some reason, the game will glitch, and it's like, oh no, that hit didn't count for some reason, and I have to use like a full round of shotguns then to finally take him down. Yeah. And it was just really infuriating because I'm like, no, it needs to be fucking consistent. It doesn't make sense that like all of a sudden he's like 2 arrows, then all of a sudden magically he's like 50 arrows. And this is in the same area that I'm fighting in. He doesn't get stronger as you fight him. It's the same body consistent damage.
So is it like his hitbox is off, or just that he's like gaining more health or something randomly?
Just because other times then it just still takes 2 arrows. And then there'd just be that one time, it'd be just a random glitch in the game. It's like, oh, nope, this damage for some reason didn't count. Because I had to use a shit ton of ammo then to do it. Mm-hmm. And I knew I was doing a lot of damage to him because I upgraded my crossbow bolt to like full damage.
Yeah.
And so that was like, that's the problem I had with the game. And it just, that was its major flaws. It's not consistent with itself. There's a lot of actually, as before I said, it was actually a well-programmed game. It's really not actually. Like the last time I've been trying to play the game too, it would just not want to run on my laptop. Every other game I was playing was running fine, except for this one. It would just crash all the time, just on startup. Like, I don't know if you had like notifications still on Steam when you know when someone's playing a game. Do you still have that on or no?
Yeah, I normally, yeah.
Yes. So you probably saw me come on and like log into Evil Within and log out, then log back into Evil Within.
Yeah, I was like, man, Mike really likes that game. Every 5 minutes he's restarting it or something.
Yeah, no, it was just me just trying to get the game to run, and it was just so frustrating.
Yeah, I think that they mentioned this. Okay, I have nothing to back this up, but I believe it's because you're recording it, right? I think it might be because of the recording software.
No, I thought that too, but I'd actually leave that off too at the same time. It was just stupid.
Well, then the game's just broke as fuck.
Yeah, that's like one of my major issues with it. But there was like, the game got so good too at some points. As like my favorite levels was one, the Keeper, when you run to the safe head, because you're in the tombs, and the tombs are really fun to be in. Mm-hmm. And one of my favorite things is that the game actually just tricked me, because there was one segment in the game where I noticed, like, I looked on the floor and I noticed this track going all the way down this long hallway, and I looked to my left and I see this boarded up like cylinder spike thing. I'm like, I see what's gonna happen here. I got you, game. So I start booking down the hallway, and then all of a sudden I just hit a trick mine, and it just freaking blows me up. I'm like, what the fuck? How am I supposed to deal with that and the spiked wall? And so I go back in there, and then I'm like, all right, I guess maybe if it's after the trap mine, it goes off. So I sneak up to the trap mine, I disarm the trap mine, and then I start booking it. In the end, the spike thing never runs at all. It was just a way to make you run down and get blown up by the trap. I was like, oh, it was such a good trick. And then that's when the game started getting good for me. I'm like, okay, they actually, like, they understand that you're going to notice things very easily, so they're going to try to trick you.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, and there was this other scene, yeah, and so the game was getting good. And it's hard for me. It's because, like I said, I want to like the game, but so many things went wrong with it. But in the end, I would like to switch my opinion that, yeah, I mean, if you want to enjoy it, it's actually a game that you should probably pick up and try, but you're not going to miss anything if you skip it, honestly.
Flip-flopper, Mike.
I know.
You're a dirty flip-flopper.
Pick up in some scenes. Like, the only thing is that, like, there were so many things that went wrong while I was playing it, too, at the same time that brought it back down.
Yeah.
And, like, another example is, like, oh, man, there was this really great scene, too, when you're in this apartment building, and you have to sneak through, like, all these rooms, because, like, the main antagonist was there in that same area as you, walking around. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Because you, like, can't kill the main antagonist in the game, technically. And so I was like, holy crap, stealth mode for the first time. You know, I just can't go running and gunning and stabbing everything. It was a really cool thing. But then it was also spoiled then when I realized that you can easily kill him with just one frostbolt, and then he just disappears from that segment. I was like, oh, okay. So it's like, and at first it was great, but then when I kept running into him, I was like, oh, just build a frostbolt, bam, you're dead, you're gone. And then I think, though, that was still an awesome thing to sneak around in, though. Really enjoyed that scene. And I did enjoy one more. What was it? I can't exactly remember what else I enjoyed.
You liked the end where you didn't have to play it anymore.
The ending was like, yeah, the boss was ridiculous. He was super easy to beat. I mean, it was ridiculous boss fight. I'll be nice, I won't spoil anything, but it was just over the top like boss fight, but it was stupid easy. It was mostly like, oh, aim here, then aim here, and all that stuff. And then there was another part where you don't move. Like in like the whole entire boss fight, you never really move at all. You just aim at certain things and then aim at the boss.
Yeah, I remember that boss fight. It was
It was
a
really,
little disappointing.
yeah, like all the bosses before that were challenging to do, and then he was just stupid easy and like, this is it. I was a little bit disappointed too because at the end you reface all the bosses, but the this one particular one that I actually enjoyed fighting because she was the only one that had a unique way of fighting her. Every other boss was, oh, just shoot the boss, and that was it. Her, when you fight this one boss, you can use so many things around you in the level to fight her with, which was awesome. And I was really disappointed that she didn't show up in the last part because you refight the chainsaw boss, there's the safe head boss, and actually that's it. Technically, there's only really 3 main bosses, and I don't know why they didn't make you refight the woman boss at all in the last part.
She kind of has her own story going on, if I remember correctly. It's not really related to like the main story. She's just got her own thing, like a side thing.
Is she related to the main bad guy though?
What's that?
Is she related to the main bad guy?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like-
I don't
I
remember.
think she was the main antagonist, like first true
Spoiler
friend.
alert. I don't
Who
know.
cares? If it's not that, yeah, but she was like the only really fun one to face. She was still easy to beat, but she only was the like really interesting one to fight though. Cause like, oh, I have like all these ways in my environment to fight this one boss. Everyone like while like all the other ones like, oh, just shoot him a bunch of times and that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall the game got better. It started off awful, and then well, it didn't get better. It just had some really good segments in it. They were sadly too short. Like another one was like in like what I mean like too short is like when you do the safe head level. There's this like one time where all of a sudden you're trapped in this area and there's poison seeping into the area, so you have a certain amount of time to close the valve and then to stop the poison.
Such a stupidly annoying level. But okay, yeah, say what you were gonna say because I thought it was annoying.
It was so short. It was just right in front of you, and that was it. There's only turn off one steam valve, and then the main thing was right in front of you, and you only ran to one enemy, and that was it. And I was like, I was actually excited. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be really intense. This is gonna be awesome. But no, it was literally just 5 minutes, and that was it. I'm like, all right, that's cool, I guess. I mean, I know it's a way to show you how to do this because the mechanic came in during the boss fight, but it was just so short that it was just wasted a thing, you know? It was just because it was just like, oh, that's it? That was really supposed to be scary or attention filled? Because it wasn't at all. Because once I did it, I had so much time left. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, they definitely throw in a lot of ideas into the Evil Within, and they don't really explore them a lot. Like, it's more atmospheric than anything else.
That's what I was going to get at the end, too. That's exactly the main problem with it. They had so many good ideas, but they never explored them fully. Like, another one was near the end where you're in this warehouse filled with gas. And so it wasn't poisonous gas, it was flammable gas, so you couldn't use any of your weapons. So you actually had to sneak all the way through. And that one was super fun, but once again, it was only like 5 minutes. And I was like, damn. It had so much opportunities to be a lot better. Because I think that's it's one of its biggest flaws. It tried to be everything, but even though it was everything, it wasn't everything good.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's like my biggest complaint of the game. Also, the cutscenes still throughout the whole damn game were just awful. Like every cutscene, everything would be just popping in as the video was going on. I'm like, what is going on?
Right.
But yeah, so overall, I understand what the game was trying to get at. It just sadly just did it poorly.
If you had to give it a 1 out of 10 rating, what would you give it?
A 5.
All right. A 5 as in like average, or a 5 as in like this is not my average, this is below average?
It's average, you know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's like It's not. Yeah, it's just average.
It's hard to tell. Like a 1 out of 10 you would think is a pretty typical scale, but like if you read one Game Informer magazine, you realize that a 5 is not an average score. Like an 8.5 is a very average score.
No, exactly.
For
Their
Game
scores
Informer.
are just bullshit.
So I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, and to clarify like my 5, the 5 is it's a game.
It's a game.
But you're not going to get anything out of it. You're not going to take anything away from the game in the end.
Okay.
6 is something like, oh, I bought, like, it's worth playing, and you at least took one thing out of it, that was cool. This one, it was like, I didn't really get anything out of the damn game.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. I'm glad I beat it, though, in the end.
Yeah.
It's nice to beat a game, especially nowadays, when there's like 500.
Yeah. No, I get you.
And then, but yeah, that's all it's been playing. I also been playing another game too called. I just picked it up today actually and started playing it. And yeah, I want to talk about that later though. And so,
sure.
I know that you've been playing though Evil Within 2.
Yep. So Mike's been playing the Evil Within 1. During that time, the Evil Within 2 came out on Friday the 13th. So 2 days ago, and I have been trucking through that. So obviously Mike and I have differing opinions about games, so I just wanted to clarify that before we both come across as like completely differing opinions. But I actually agree with Mike on a lot of points that Evil Within 1 had and Evil Within 2 consistently holds. Because,
oh, really? Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, well, so there are, like, I've made a list, so I know we mentioned this last week, but I have a YouTube channel. So I've been writing a list down because I'm going to make a review of it on like the pros and the cons.
Yeah, I need to start doing those before I start getting playing about games. So I have more organized thoughts. But yeah, continue.
Yeah, well, so obvious pros and cons for the list, but I guess one of my biggest things is that there's a lot of bugs in Evil Within 2 right now. There's not like insects. I don't know if that's why you're laughing.
No, I know what you meant by computer like glitches and all that stuff.
Yeah, so there's a couple funny things that have happened, so I want to go into those, and they're not like the longest stories ever, but I think that you'll appreciate. So bug number 1. Bug number 1 is that, and once again, this involves no spoilers, by the way. I'm not gonna like reveal anything of the story, but
makes sense. It just came out.
Yeah, but I think it's funny that if you come across this, like, I want to know if it's a reoccurring thing or if I just, like, rolled a natural 20 and got, like, these weird-ass fucking bugs. But, so the first thing is that within the first, 2 hours of the game, you meet up with this guy, and you're in, like, a safe house, and so it's just you two, essentially, and the guy's freaking out. He's like, what the heck's going on? And I don't understand anything, and I'm just a, pussy, and I'm just hiding here, whatever, and there's this conversation going on, but, like, very clearly in the background, there's a floating head, and I wasn't really sure what was going on with this floating head, so, I was, like, stuck in this, like, 2-minute long conversation with this bro, so, So it keeps going back to this floating head, and I'm like, this is gonna be part of the story, isn't it? Spoiler? No, not a spoiler, but a fake spoiler. It was not part of the story. Cutscene ends. I go over to the floating head that's just like seemingly suspended in the room.
It's still there?
Yeah. After the cutscene, it's still there, and I look at it. And it's the main character's head. It's my head, but it doesn't have any of the hair or anything. It's just the base model, and it's just like ripped off at the neck, because he doesn't have his body or anything. And so I was recording it, so I've got a good recording of me standing next to this, like my own head in the air. And so that. It's one of those things that it happened early enough in the game that I'm playing it, and once I realize what it is, I'm like, oh god, like what did I do? Why did I spend this money? No,
It's a bad town, you know. You know what you're getting yourself into after that.
Yeah, and honestly, like I wasn't. I don't hate the Evil Within 2. I'll start with that, but I will say that it's not the greatest game I've ever played, and I definitely, like Mike said, it's a game that I really want to like, and
Yeah.
I can go into that a bit more in detail here. But there's one other bug that was really funny. That it's not necessarily a bug, but it's more of just like a issue with how they coded the game that is super exploitable. Um, so if you're ever playing the game, um, ammo is really hard to come by, and I'm playing on the hardest difficulty. So like maybe that's just a setting in the difficulty where I
Is it like the first one when you? Is it like in the first one you can't play the hardest difficulty until you beat it? So I guess I played in the second hardest difficulty.
no.
Is
So
it?
like when you first start up, it's the hardest difficulty you can pick when you first start
Okay.
the game. So there's
Okay.
three. Um, So anyway, you start and you only have a pistol. You don't have any other weapons or anything. So pretty much like if you fuck up a shot or two with the pistol, um, and someone's running at you, like you're gonna have to either run away or reload or something. Like it's really hard to recover if you miss a shot. You're gonna have to like retreat and come back to the enemy. So sneaking is a really important thing to do in the game. So I've been playing the second game a lot more on the sneaky passive route, but like sneak kills, not necessarily like going towards an
No,
enemy.
no, that's what I've been doing too. That's how I played through the first one, and
Y-
so like majority of the time I'd always try to just stab people
Yeah,
and save ammo.
yeah, and so in the first area that you kind of get to explore, Evil Within 2 tries to be a more open world type of atmosphere, which is kind of cool. Um, but like it's in like an outside neighborhoodish kind of area,
Oh,
and
that's cool.
like there's bushes that can aid you in hiding. So like you're not only around corners, but if you hide in a bush, you
Is
show
it
up.
like Assassin's Creed when you just click on the bush and you go inside it, or do you just walk inside the bush?
No, you just walk inside.
Okay, cool.
So as long as you're like crouching and in the bush, the enemies have a hard time seeing you. So essentially,
Awesome.
I had an issue where I like it's an open world area and like there's a lot of guys wandering the street. Like if you try to kill every monster that you see right away, you're gonna run out of ammo because you're not gonna be able to explore any of the buildings before you run into like 30 zombies and you've got like 6 bullets. So I
Yeah.
found an interesting exploit to manage this, and it has to do with sneaking. So what you do is you just fucking haul ass into the biggest group of zombies that you can find. And the first one sees you and he's like, "Argh!" And, like it alerts all the rest of them. And so now you've got a fucking pain train of zombies behind you. Run into the nearest bush and like immediately they lose track of you. They'll like stand at the edge of the bush and they'll be like, "Huh? Where'd he go?" So you hide in the bush and then they all slowly start to turn around and just like if you've got a group of like 3 of them with you, the last one to turn around, you just stealth kill him. Next guy, stealth kill him. Next guy, stealth kill him. And that's how you kill 3 zombies. Like it normally takes like if you're a really good shot, it takes like 3 bullets to take down a zombie. Like a ridiculous
Yeah.
amount of bullets for how much they supply you to take down a single zombie. And
Does it does
uh,
it have the same upgrading system as the first one?
yeah, like you upgrade the damage and you upgrade the
Yeah.
reload speed and a bunch of other things that no one ever really bothers with. You upgrade damage and that's it.
Yeah, I upgraded it actually in the first one. What was good is do the damage, and then after that there was the crit one, and the crit was an instant kill if you hit them in the head. Then, so I upgraded that one next.
Oh, okay. I didn't get that one. There's something I'm working towards right now. It's the last part of the skill tree in damage, but it's that you can go into almost like a bullet time, and it takes fucking like I'm almost done with the game, and I still haven't gotten it. And I'm thinking that you're only supposed to get it in like New Game Plus because it's a stupid amount of points that you need to upgrade it. Anyway,
Yeah.
so to get back to the story, so this is pretty much how I approach this entire game. Is like I said, it's semi-open world. So regardless of how far away a monster is from the bushes, I'll like kick in the door of the bar or kick in the door of the restaurant, just like run down the alleyway, all the zombies, roar! And then I run out the door and run to the closest bush. And so I pretty much beat the game hiding in a fucking bush the entire time. Or I'm getting through the game like that, yeah.
Sadly, that's what I kind of did in the first one, too. Like, if there was too many of them in one area, I would just run in there, run out, and then, like you said, they just turn around, and they go back to the original starting point they were at, and you just stab them one at a time. And I just thought that it's funny that they never fixed that in the end.
Well, I'm thinking, like, sometimes they investigate the bushes a little more, but honestly, it's like the second that they lose sight of you, they, like, just stop dead in their tracks. So
yeah, it's the same thing in the first one. You hide under a bed or in a cupboard. They just stop. As long as they don't see you go inside it, you're good, no matter what.
Yeah. And so, I mean, like, the fact that a bush, you don't have to, like, go in and out of closets or go in and out of, like, underneath a bed or something. It's so much easier to just walk out of the bush, just, and then, next guy, batter up, next guy comes up.
Yeah, because they're all going back to their starting point where they are roaming. And so it's like, okay.
Yeah.
That's sad they didn't fix it, so they would just free roam the bed or something. That'd be cool.
Honestly, though, like, it would be hard to fix because I was just complaining about how there's not enough ammo per zombies. Yeah. So, like, it makes sense, but if they made it a little more engaging, it would have been interesting.
I guess they tried to switch it up because in the first one they said, like, oh, you better not kill the zombies. It's better to run. I killed every single one on my way to the objectives, and I had plenty of ammo every single time. Yeah. So I guess they're trying to switch it up to make it actually challenging so you can do that. Because I thought in the first one I was like, it said it's better to run, but I killed every single thing I've seen, and I have plenty of ammo.
Yeah.
It came to a point where I was just like, at the end, I was just like running in with a shotgun or a pistol, my pistol, and just killing everything. I'm like, fuck you, and fuck you. And like, next target? It was just really funny.
Yeah, like, I didn't want to say this when you were talking about the Evil Within 1, because obviously you were talking about it, but there's a point that I wanted to touch on that is consistent through both the games, so you'll be able to relate here, is that the beginning of, like, the difficulty curve for the Evil Within is so wild. It starts out, and when you first start in the game, you've got sneak attacks and you've got a handgun, and like I said, if you mess up with the handgun, you're like fucked. It's so hard. The game is so impossibly hard at the beginning, but then by the time you get like a nice arsenal going on, I mean, you could, like, I save 3 of my guns exclusively for bosses, and then everything else I use like a handgun and sneak kills. Like, I've got, bullets upon bullets of all the really big damage important guns for boss fights, and I just hold on to those forever, and everything else there's so many choices is pretty much what I'm getting.
Do you have an ammo cap in the second one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so like in Evil Within 1, you have to upgrade your ammo so you can carry more ammo. Just like you had to, you had to upgrade yourself to carry more matches. So like what at first I did was I just upgraded my pistol all the way up for the ammo capacity, then the damage, because like they gave you a shit ton of pistol ammo. It was kind of fun because then I just saved my pistol for bosses because it was so strong then. It was so powerful, especially with the critical shots and my crossbolts. But since you can make crossbolts so easily from disarming traps, so it was like I had unlimited bolts everywhere.
Yeah, the harpoons are like easily like if you're gonna play either the Evil Within 1 or the Evil Within 2 and you don't know where to start upgrading your skill tree, Evil Within 1, upgrade matches first. Evil Within 2, just go straight into harpoon damage because it's so important. Like
harpoon, like I did I did matches and I did harpoon carrying capacity. Then I did damage after that.
Yeah, like the harpoon is the most powerful gun by far, and it might not start as the most powerful gun. Like the sniper rifle or something might do more damage, but consistently in both Evil Within 1 and Evil Within 2, if you look at the skill tree, each step further in the skill tree is like increase damage by this much, increase damage by that much. Like the harpoon gun increases damage. If you fill out the entire skill tree, the harpoon gun increases its damage by 200% and lights enemies on fire in both the games.
What? Oh, in both?
Yeah, it also did it in the first one. I didn't do
all the way in the first one. I was switching out my stuff to other stuff in the end. I got up to like level 4. But in the end, though, like it still did so much damage. It was stupid, and especially when you got the frostbolt, bosses were stupid easy. You just made a frostbolt, shoot them once with a frostbolt, then shoot them 3 times the head with the regular harpoon, and they're dead. That was it. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Well, one
The
thing.
frostbolt was overpowered as hell in that game.
Right. I can't remember using those too much. I used the electric ones.
I preferred using the frostbolt because with the electrical one, they would get jittery, and so it was a little bit harder to hit their heads. That's why I like the frostbolt. It just froze them completely. It didn't matter how big the boss was in the end; it would still freeze them.
One thing I also wanted to mention, Mike, it doesn't sound like you're going to play the Evil Within 2, but I will say that if you ever do get around to it, they did get rid of the matches. So all you got to do is knock them on the ground, and you just stomp them once, and they're dead.
Oh, thank God!
Yeah.
In the end, I had so much matches left over in the end because I just at first the game does a bad job in telling this too. It said like when you first get your matches, it's like, oh, you better light them on fire, otherwise they're gonna come right back up again. And so that's exactly how they say it. So at first I thought like, oh, so no matter what I do, even if I blow off their heads, they're still gonna come back to life. Nope. Even when you just stab them in the head with a knife, they don't come back at all. So matches are useful to take care of large groups, but in the end, it was like matches are just a useful tool to save ammo sometimes. And so it was really knowing that they don't tell you that in the game. It's like, oh, actually they do die. But no, when you get the matches saying in the trailer, like, they don't die, so you better burn their bodies. I'm like, what the fuck? They do die. It was just so, that's like, it's the thing with this game that pisses me off so much with this bullshit. You know, I started getting tutorials more than halfway in the game. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, watch out when you kick open a door, it makes a noise. The other zombies will hear it. I'm like,
oh, I remember that, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I know, and I'm already more than halfway through I'm like in chapter 8 when it's telling me this. I'm like, are you for real?
Have you tried reloading your gun? Oh, no, I haven't tried reloading my gun. Oh, geez.
I missed a trap once. It's like, hey, if you miss a trap, it blows up. I'm like, this was in chapter 8 too. I was like, I was just so pissed because it was like, oh my God.
All right.
Because,
okay.
Continue, sorry.
No, it's fine. I was just gonna say, like, we've been talking about the Evil Within for like 30 minutes now.
Well, hey, I took the effort to beat the whole fucking game. We're gonna talk about it, alright? We're making something out of it.
Mike, we've been talking about it for like a month now.
I know, but dude, it took. I'm just glad it was only 15 chapters in the end.
Yeah.
Thank jeez.
I don't know. The Evil Within is definitely. So you said that you wanted to like the game, and I couldn't agree more. I just wanted to briefly mention that, like, I think that horror as a genre is extremely limited these days. Like, we're getting a lot of indie games that do horror, but the only other AAA games that are coming out that are horror are, like, Resident Evil. Like, it's really hard to find a diverse amount of horror games lately for like a good price and like a good full experience. The reason that they
look good, it's like I know there are some that are good, but a lot of them are just like 8-bit story horror games. Like those don't really interest me. I want to see like good graphics horror games.
Yeah, I mean think of all the horror games that you can right now. There's aside from the Evil Within, there's like Five Nights at Freddy's, there's Amnesia, there's Slender Man. Like these are all horror games, sure, but they'd have very simple mechanics. I think the reason I want to like The Evil Within as a series so much is because it actually offers quite a bit to the table. It's just they can't get down those fundamentals.
Yeah, and it's sad because I enjoyed the enemies. Like the bosses all looked cool in the first one. Well, the chainsaw one was kind of a boring one. It's just a trope that's been used over and over again. So.
But the point is that it's a full AAA experience, which I know AAA kind of gets shit on a lot recently, but I mean, if it didn't have an upgrade system at all, if it didn't have, for as shitty as a story as it does have, if its story was even as simplistic as like a Slender Man story, I mean, the point is that they tried, and it's refreshing in that sense. But yeah, they definitely could have done a lot better, but I still appreciate it for what it is. Like, I'm not willing to shit on it too much just because they're taking a risk, horror is a really risky genre to invest money into,
and it just like the game I can't say the game's good.
But you
It's
want to
so
like
hard for me.
it, like I said.
Yeah, I really want to like it, but there's some things in it that just really just bum me out. And in the end, I was not really scared of the game. There was like only one really scene in the game that actually scared me a bit, and that was when you actually run into the main antagonist, and you cannot kill him. He just like follows you slowly, and then he'll disappear after a while. The thing is, though, during your time in the area, you do not know when he'll ever pop up again, and it's always random. And he'll just follow you for for a period of time, and that part's pretty scary because you're in a mansion running around. And it's like, God, please don't run into any enemies right now, because he also teleports closer to you, and it was just really creepy because you couldn't shoot him, you couldn't freeze him. He was basically a ghost, but if he caught you, you were dead.
Yeah,
and I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I remember that. It's funny that you thought that was cool because I thought that mechanic was like so broken as fuck. Like if you're just close to a corner and he comes in behind you, like it's like cool. I've got to replay the last 8 minutes now because I just got unlucky with that. But yeah,
That's
I mean,
funny. I got really lucky though because the game was glitchy. Because I was like, oh, maybe if I hid under the bed, he won't see me. So I came to this one small room, hid under the bed, and then there was actually a creature in there. I don't know how she didn't see me go under the bed, but she somehow didn't and started walking to the door. And as she's walking to the door, the guy fucking busts down the door. I'm like, oh shit, hope he doesn't see me. And he just looks straight at me. I was like, oh fuck, I'm dead. So I'm just stuck under the bed, just going, oh fuck. And then right when he started walking to the door, the enemy was leaving the door too. She, for some reason, thought I was outside. So they were both stuck in the door. So they were staring at this guy, staring at me, just trying to get to the doorway. And just like that funniest thing. I was like, oh, okay, this glitch saved my butt.
Nice.
It was just like, it was a scary moment, but also funny at the same time because of just that glitch.
Yeah.
And so then he just disappeared. I got out and just stabbed the bitch in the back of the head. I'm like, all right, back to work.
At the end of the day, I just stabbed the bitch and went back to work. No context. No.
It was just, and like, it did have some good puzzles, but some puzzles were just stupid easy.
Yeah. All right. So, Mike, I want to move on here because I want to get to this top 5. And I'm pretty excited about this top 5, honestly. So, as we did last week, 'tis October the month. I don't know why I said it that way, but whatever. I'm sticking with it. 'Tis October the month, Mike. And, Halloween and scariness and all that. So last week we did modern horror films, which I thought was a pretty good list, although I was reminded that I should have mentioned the movie It Follows onto that list. And
that one was...
I liked it.
I didn't care for it. I thought it was kind of a dumb movie in the end.
I don't care.
I was really hyped up about it, though, but in the end, I didn't care much about it.
All right, well...
Let's continue.
So continuing on to top 5 for this week now. This week's top 5, which Mike and I were going to discuss. I think it is official now. We're going to discuss these beforehand. Before we were doing it where they were improvised. One person said the top 5, and the other person had to make it up on the spot. We decided that probably wasn't the best route. So we both have pre-made lists now.
Well, just that the last one went so well, so I think it's better to become with a pre-made list too. So.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so much room for like going back and maybe that wasn't the best idea. Like in episode 2, we talked about storylines in games, and I just totally went off the fucking rails on like.
Yeah.
I mean, I mentioned Kingdom Hearts as like my number 1 or something, and I looked back on that and I was like, no, what was I thinking?
Like the first one we did, it's like I kept on switching in mine like 20 times. So it's just like, oh, geez.
Okay, so sorry, I've been kind of like building the suspense up for this week's top 5. But so this week's top 5, sticking with the horror theme for Halloween, we're doing top 5 best horror boss design in game, or like.
I thought we were doing scariest enemies.
Yeah, that came out weird. Sorry.
It's like the opposite of what we wanted to do.
So yeah, okay. I had 2 things written down.
I was like, is there a boss like what?
I'm Ron Burgundy. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so sorry. scariest enemies. Don't worry, my
Jesus.
list is relevant. It's not that.
I hope so.
You're like, I thought we were doing scariest enemies, and you hear my son like, oh fuck, you know. Cut the audio. Cut the audio, Mike.
We're not doing this live.
We just said we weren't. No. Right. Okay. So once again, we're doing scariest enemies. Mike,
So we're so no. Ben started last time. I'm gonna start this time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give my top 3. Then Ben's gonna give his top 3. I mean his bottom 3, and I'm gonna give my bottom, my second. He's gonna give a second. Then I give my first, and he gives his first.
Yep. So Mike,
So
what is your number
order.
5?
Okay, so number 5 is a game that came out recently. It's an indie game called Little Nightmares. I talked about it before. I really enjoy the game, and the enemies are just, it's all stop motion, and it almost looks clay. And, just like, especially, I think my favorite one of them is Long Arms. And they just look, like, I'll just stick to him. They all look creepy, but yeah, his Long Arms looks especially creepy. Yeah, he's just called Long Arms. He's this dude with just a giant head, short body, short legs, and these really long arms. And he was just, he just really well-made character. He's on the bottom, though, because they're not entirely scary for me. They're just really creepy, just in the way how he moves, how he tries to grab you all the time. And just this noise he makes too, just like these clicking noises. It just so good.
He's
so he's my
because he's just a guy that tries to grab you all the time, as Mike describes every female's experience on Friday night.
Shut up.
He's just trying to grab you all the time. He's creepy. No.
Just a really well-made character, and so like the clay, I think they're claymation, but yeah, and it's all stop motion, and they just look so well done, so creepy. And if you want a good Halloween game to play, I think Little Nightmares is a good way to start. And so that's my number 5.
I wish that game would go on sale, because I would like to play that. I noticed it did have a sale like 2 weeks ago or something.
It's also very short too, and like it's challenging. It's not hard, but it's a good amount of challenge. But nothing will make you stumped.
Mm-hmm.
And you just also want to explore the world. But enough about Little Nightmares. So number 3... Number 4, sorry. Thank you for the save. So that was number 5. Number 4 is going to go to splicers in BioShock. And specifically the spider splicers, because there's actually different versions of splicers. And so if you haven't played BioShock, splicers are just people who who mutated because they just injected too much power into themselves.
They're like the common enemy in BioShock.
Yeah, they're the common enemy. There's this one particular one called the spider where they crawl up on the walls, they jump around, do flips, and it was always just so creepy playing the game, and you just start walking, you just hear them just like clacking around you, and you don't see them yet, so they finally pop out, and I just remember always just like, oh, fuck, and start just take my shotgun out and start shooting at them, and just be aiming up in the ceiling, just blowing holes in the ceiling, just trying to nail these guys, and they were just so nimble and so creepy. And a lot of things that like I enjoy, especially I find creepy, are just things that just crawl on the wall and all that stuff, and especially like in fast paced, and they throw things at you. They just make great sounds. They scream at you. They're just deranged people, so they just scream nonsense at you, and so good. And then my number 3 is what was my number 3 again?
I don't know.
Number 2. Number 3 was Dead Space, the basic enemies in Dead Space. Did they have a name to them? I think they were just called Strikers in the end. Dead Space Wiki. Let me just see if they have a name to them.
Yeah, that's fine. I didn't ever play the game, so...
Dead Space?
No, and I've got all 3 of them on Steam. I think I got it in like a bundle or something.
Dude, Dead Space 1's really good.
I heard it. I heard it is, yeah.
It's my favorite one. The second and third, I'm like, eh. Slashers, like, they're just, it's a horror game. Really, most horror game creatures don't really have a name in games. But man, are they creepy as fuck, though. They're just mutated humans, and they just have these giant blades on both hands. and they just come in fast at you and start swinging. And the thing that's unique about Dead Space is that to kill enemies is to blow off their limbs, and that's how you take care of them. So it's like I do always like, but if you blow off their legs, and they'll start coming at you, like they'll start digging their claws into the ground, start dragging their bodies towards you, and they're still going fucking fast too. And they just are really well designed, just super creepy.
Spoilers, Mike. I haven't played yet.
they're the first enemies you see, dude. It's the first that.
Spoilers.
It's not a boss, dude. It's just a freaking enemy.
Now I know there's enemies in Dead Space, Mike. Why even bother playing the game anymore?
So, the first one's real. It's Dead Space 1, good game. And another good horror game to play. That game's probably cheap as fuck to pick up. So to go over the list again, it's Little Nightmares, Long Arms, just for his. They're just creepy. He's a creepy guy. Most of these things are on my list because they're just creepy, and I'm just going off the list.
Yeah.
For that.
I would say that's suitable. It's like the most unsettling or scary enemy.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be like a big player in the game or anything. It's just like you walk into the room, you see this guy on the other side of the room, and you say, fuck that,
Exactly. The same thing with Long Arms. It's like that. It's just not like, or it's just like, oh, fuck, when you see him. Then like number 4 was Splicers. You just hear them coming, you hear them clacking, and you just look up and there they are, and you start fucking using up all your ammo. Number 3, the slashers in Dead Space. Just really tension in that game because you just have very limited ammo. It's one of those games where you have like, oh, better watch out with your ammo count, and it just super creepy, especially when you just shoot up off a limb and they're still coming at you fast.
Right.
Like in Evil Within 1, you shoot them in the legs, like, oh, they're down, just let them match. And Dead Space, like, no, they're going to come at you fast still. It's like, shit. And so then those are my bottom 3. Then, Ben, where are your bottom 3?
All right. So my number 5 is from the game Amnesia. And it's not the normal monster in Amnesia. There's a guy that kind of follows you around, and he's the normal monster, but... Yeah. He makes like this noise, and I mean, so I just don't want people to associate him with my number 5. So my number 5 is actually there's an invisible monster, and you can't see him, but you can hear him, and you can see his footsteps because the areas that you encounter him, the rooms are flooded, and they've got like a foot or two of water in them.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, and so, I mean, anytime that you're in the water, he can hear you. He can hear your footsteps. And so, like, the first couple steps you take when you enter this room, splosh, 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 immediately, right off the bat, from the other side of the room, you see, like, something coming from the door, and you hear splosh, 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 like it's something running at you. And, if you first play this game, you're going to die immediately because you don't know how the fuck to, like, escape him because that's what happened to, like, everyone that has played this game. But you realize that the way to get around him is to, like, stand on furniture and stuff and be out of the water. But, no, I mean, like, it's that first impression that you get of him of just, like, oh, fuck, where is this guy? I don't see him. And then you, like, the less you see, like, the splashes in the water from his steps. And then it's an instant kill, I think. I can't remember, but he pretty much kills you like immediately if you are in the water. But
I think it's like the first type of enemy that's ever. I think it's like the game that's ever done that first too. Because I can't think of any games before that ever did that. But afterwards, I know a bunch of games that do that. Like even Little Nightmares has a scene like that too.
Yeah, but no,
it's a very iconic thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was a really unique monster, but also just like. Scary as in like
it's scary as fuck. You can't see it. You just it's a good one.
Yeah, and like if you lose track of him, like he could be right next to you and you wouldn't be able to tell. And so I mean, granted the original monster in Amnesia is scary as all hell and whatnot, it's a scary game in general. Go play it if you haven't. But the water monster specifically, just that first time that you encounter him is just like you're totally overwhelmed. You have no idea what the heck's going on. Like, that was a really cool moment. So that was my number 5. Number 4 takes from BioShock, and I know Mike had the splicers in BioShock, but I'm going to say the Big Daddies, which I mean, when I played this game, I was pretty young. Not.
I was debating, honestly, putting on the Big Daddies on the list.
Yeah. Well, so it's funny because like now I don't think the Big Daddies are scary, just because I think that the way that you get revived in BioShock is interesting. You just like you die, and then you're like immediately brought back to life in like in the revive chambers. But before you realize that, like before you realize what comes with death or how little death matters in BioShock, like I hadn't died up until I saw a Big Daddy.
Yeah.
And so I was like really paranoid about like what was going to happen if I was, like the uncertainty of death is what was more scarier than the Big Daddy, I guess is kind of what I'm getting at here. But when I first met the Big Daddy, it like charges at you, it's huge, it's hulking, and it just kind of roams around, and you have to take it out. It's a fight that you absolutely have to do in the first time that you encounter him, I believe. And you can't just like move, you can't just continue through the game, I think.
Yeah, well, no. With Big Daddies is that they protect the. So in Bioshock, there are these girls that collect Adam, and Adam is the thing that gives you the ability to upgrade. And so what these little girls do is that they collect Adam from dead bodies, and they're protected by Big Daddies. And so Big Daddies are the protectors. So they'll leave you alone. They don't touch you at all. But if you mess with the girl, or if you do shoot at them, at the Big Daddy, then they attack you. Otherwise, they're passive people.
Yeah, but the first one that you encounter, I think you have to kill him as part of the story. I'm pretty sure.
I think the guy asks you to kill him. So yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's what I was getting at. Is like it wasn't an option that this thing was roaming around and you had to engage it at some point, and not knowing that death was like. Honestly, I was so disappointed when I first died because I was like, oh, I'm back and I've got ammo and I'm good. Like it didn't matter. The dying is like. You could die 100 times in that game, and there's no repercussions.
Well, you don't get ammo back.
No, but you don't lose anything, I guess. You lose like money, but who cares?
No, yeah, money's easy to get in that game. Stupid easy.
Like once you realize that there's no repercussions or anything from dying, it's like it doesn't matter at all. But when I remember,
that's my only magic gripe about that game.
Yeah, but when I remember when I first faced off against a Big Daddy, I was like freaking out because I'm thinking the screen's gonna like show like the fucking. His hand, like, grabbing, my character's throat, and then the fucking, like, drill going into my guy's face. I was, like, freaking out, dude. And so, like, I waited around that room for, like, a good 30 minutes not attacking him, because I was like, I don't want to fucking do this. Like, I was shitting my pants. So, yeah, Big Daddy's number 4. But once again, these are all very situational, because, like, after I realized that death wasn't a huge deal, like, it totally lost all that like sense of horror for me, and that's kind of where my number 1 is going to get to. I'm not going to say it yet, but just to kind of hint at that is that like my number 1 is no longer scary to me at all. But yeah, it like at the time it was like fuck that. Okay, so then my number 3, and just because we've been talking about the Evil Within, I guess this one kind of makes it. But I legitimately thought that this was scary. Is that there's this monster called Laura in the Evil Within. And I think it's the female boss that Mike was discussing before, but she's kind of like a spidery, like crawling around on her hands and legs, and you can't really see her face too much. But she's creepy as all hell. She's got this like scream, and it's like she's very like slow and just like coming at you, and you're like trapped in this room. You have to take her out, and it's just like this constant threat. Essentially, you can't escape her. You have to engage. And
I filled her face with lead. It was great.
I got so freaking scared. Like, and the other thing too, Mike was talking about the inconsistency of bosses. Where like, oh, I can't kill you. I've got to run away. Oh, wait, now I can kill you. She totally falls under that category. Like, I think I've read that technically you can kill her in every scenario that you encounter her.
It takes a buttload of ammo.
Yeah, you have to.
As much.
Yeah, like the first time you encounter her, it's like unless you've been saving every bullet since you started the game, you're probably not going to be able to kill her. The next time, you might be able to. The next time, possibly. But it's
nice is that when you do get the fighter, they give you a lot of scenery weapons, barrels. There's like fire traps used against her to help bring her down.
Yeah, but no, she was just like legitimately frightening. they have a really, really good build up for her. I think when you first encounter her, you don't even get to like fight her immediately. If I remember
Yeah,
correctly, you've got
you
to
have
run
to
away
run.
from
You
her.
have no choice, and it's like she's actually. You said she's actually quite fast. Uh,
Well, she's
she,
fast when it's in the running sections.
well, the thing is that she moves slowly, but then randomly she'll charge at you, and she's like really fast, and she has that motion like in The Exorcist, where it's just really just glitchy like, and so it's like it's like stop motion kind of movement, and it's like really creepy actually. They
Yeah,
made her character really awesome,
yeah,
especially when she runs.
yeah. I was super like freaked out about her. I like there. I didn't play the game for like a solid week until I had enough courage to face off against her again because
I had upgraded my sprint though so much though, so I was just out running her every single time. And I was
yeah,
just running around in circles. It was pretty funny.
dude, all I do is upgrade damage. I was like, you don't need to run, and then of course unkillable bosses come up in the Evil Within, and I'm like, I've made a huge mistake, and
I did matches and I did running first.
yeah.
I was like I did health like when I ran out of things that actually I cared about upgrading.
So that's why you weren't scared of the Evil Within, Mike, is because you didn't face your fears.
I just tied them around all the time. It was funny.
Yeah, but no. So that's my lower three is the water monster from Amnesia. I don't know if he has a name.
Yeah,
Let's say
that
Samson.
also
No, I'm kidding.
Samson.
Yeah. So Samson from Amnesia, and then Big Daddy from BioShock, and then Laura from The Evil Within. Mike, what's your number two?
Number two goes to enemies in Condemned Criminal Origins, and my God, that game had great enemies that are creepy as fuck. Most of them are drug addicts, and there's basic people, but it's like you said like before. It's like it's all about the scenario, and it's really hard to defend yourself. And if you ever get a gun, it's limited. And if you find a good melee weapon, they'll break. And what made these enemies really scary and Condemned is that they'll come at you and then they'll just run away and hide. And I mean, they will just hide from you, and you just hear them in the map just breathing. And it's just like the creepiest thing, because the game also had a really good environment build. So like if you bumped to a can, it made a loud noise, and it would just make you jump out of your skin, just trying to find where these guys are coming. And when they start charging at you, you start hearing them just like scrambling through all the crap that's on the floor, and you're just like looking around everywhere to find them. But the number one enemy that I would say probably the creepiest in the game are the mannequin enemies. And these people, the mannequin enemies are these guys that have like mannequin like plaster glued onto their skin, so they look like mannequins. And you're in this one mall area where you're just surrounded by mannequins in just a normal store. And and you could sometimes tell if they're actually an enemy or a mannequin, but man, that would just add more attention to it, because like you can sometimes sneak up and hit at them, but then like immediately after you hit them, like one that you weren't paying attention to came out of nowhere and just bitch slapped you across the side of the face. It was like motherfucker,
Yeah.
and then you just run and hide again. And yeah, just like Criminal Origin just had the best. They were just so. It's such a good game. A good creepy game. It's also a good detective game too.
That game really has stood the test of time, by the way. I mean,
oh yeah,
I played it maybe 2 years ago or something, and it's just like it's
I'm
a
glad you
little
played it.
blocky, but it's not bad at all. I actually couldn't even
No.
finish it because I got too scared.
And then they were just so good. Oh, I just remembered another one, and that's gonna be an honorable mention in the end. But that's my number two is the enemies in Condemned Criminal Origins, specifically the mannequins, just because they were just extra hidden too.
To continue on with that, though, really quickly, is just like if anyone hasn't played this game, what made Condemned Criminal Origins a really, really good game is and the series Fear kind of did this too, if you've ever played Fear, but actions and enemies, like things would happen based on where your camera was facing, like where your guy was looking. So like if you're in a room, and you could be in the room for 5 minutes or 30 seconds, but like let's say there's a mirror in that room, the second that you look at the mirror is when you're going to see an enemy like run behind you or something in the mirror, and then you turn around, there's an enemy in the room. Like the game had a really good setup for like you had to specifically look at everything. It sucked, but it was also really
Yeah.
it sucked in the best way possible. That like you had to have center focus on like the scary
The
things for
objective.
the
Yeah.
for the story to continue.
It's just so well made. Like the AI in that game it's honestly was way beyond its time with the AI in that game.
Yeah,
Just
definitely.
just like once again, just the noise and the atmosphere in it, just them running around you, trying to get the jump on you. Oh my god, so good.
Definitely. Agreed.
Excuse me. 1 second. Sorry about that. So that's my number two.
Mike, the mannequins are getting you over there, buddy.
No, no, they're all around me, Ben. I don't know where they came in. I don't know why they got into my apartment. I mean, my hotel room, but they got in somehow. What's your number two?
My number two, which I would think is a number one for a lot of people. I think my number one's going to surprise a lot of people, but my number two is Lisa from PT.
Oh yeah,
If anyone
That's
ever doesn't know what I'm talking about, PT stands for what was it? Something teaser? Do you remember?
I think it was
Playable teaser.
playable teaser. I guess that's what I meant. It was supposed to be a teaser for Silent Hill.
Hills.
Silent Hills. It was supposed to be the latest one, but it got canceled sadly.
Yeah, so it was a demo on the PS4, and it's funny because it got the game that it was a teaser for. It was in the Silent Hill series. That game got canceled, and they took off the demo. But the demo is widely considered one of like the best experiences in horror. Like it's short like an indie game. I mean, if you played through it, you could probably finish it in like an hour and a half or something. But you all it is just this hallway, and you just
L-shaped
go.
hallway.
Yeah, it's a hallway with one bend in it, and you just go through it over and over again. Each time you reach the other side, you open up a door and you're back at the beginning. But each time something changes, sometimes you've got to figure things out. Lisa is the only other person in the game that you come across, and she takes on essentially many forms. She's a ghost. She's like a zombie almost. Like she's like a corpse in some parts and stuff.
Yep.
But she's fucking horrifying.
Oh yeah.
And the same actually it's a good follow up to Condemned Criminal Origins, because what they do with Lisa is exactly what they did in Condemned, where you have to be looking at a specific thing in a specific way, and then she'll show up like behind you, or she'll show up like down the hallway or something. Like the story moves forward by you actively focusing on something, and then like she'll appear like an inch away from your nose and, like make you shit your pants, and then like that, but you have to see it because the story doesn't progress otherwise.
There's one time where you don't have to see her, and then it's when it says look behind you. You don't want to look behind you.
Yeah, like number one cliche thing in horror games: when a horror game tells you to look behind you, you just say no and you put the controller down, you go into the fetal position for a couple minutes.
And in this one, you're not supposed to, because if you look, she fucking kills you, and it just scares the living crap out of you.
Yeah, honestly,
we can say this because you can't get the game anymore, you can't play the demo anymore, so...
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm being a bit more liberal with the information here. But if anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, and you're looking for a pretty good scare, just watch someone play through PT, because it doesn't take that long, and you're never going to be able to play it yourself. Like, just give it a try, or just give it a watch. It's really, really legitimately horrifying. But then on top of that, too, this demo came out 2 years ago. It's one of the best looking, like, graphic-wise, it's one of the best looking games out there. Like, there are such minute details in like, the drywall, or, like, the way that the light hits the floor, like, the wood floor, or, like, hits things on the counter, that... Like, it just looks stupidly good, and you think, wow, how did someone make this game? Like, it's unbelievable that so much time and effort went into this demo, and it just totally shows. If you're looking for a piss-your-pants kind of horror experience, regardless of your age, go check out PT, standing for
It makes me
Playable
still
Trailer.
sad, though. because it was such a good trailer, and I love the Silent Hill franchise, and it just breaks my heart knowing that they canceled it. And I was like, ah, damn.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know. I think it's gonna have some sort of a reemergence. It had so much hype. Once again, like I would be surprised if anyone listening to this hasn't heard of PT before. But maybe you haven't. In which case, you know, you better be sitting on the toilet when you watch that video. All right, so Mike, what's your number one, bud?
You're gonna be surprised about this, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people are gonna be surprised too. But my number one is Death Claws from Fallout.
Really?
Yeah, the reason why they're my number one is because every single time I see them, no matter how high of a level I'm at, as soon as I see a Death Claw, I immediately just go, motherfucker, no, and turn around. And there's been plenty of times when I've been playing Fallout 3 or Fallout 4, like in Fallout 3, I remember I was exploring, and it was just like, all of a sudden I this cave, and it just said, Deathclaw Cave. And I was like, nope, I never went back in there at all. No matter how high a level I was, I never went back at all to Deathclaw Cave. And then like another great time, Deathclaw scared the crap out of me, was in Fallout 4. I come across this one house, and there's a bunch of dead, what are the soldiers called that collect the technology and they have the power armor?
The Brotherhood of Steel.
The Brotherhood of Steel. I came across some of their bodies, and so I walk in, and then like I'm starting hearing all these horror tapes from them. I'm like, oh shit, what went down here? And I finally get up to like the main floor,
yep.
And I just turn my left, and there's a fucking Deathclaw inside a house. And I'm like, I'm fucked. And they're just like, I don't know why, but man, Deathclaws are just the scariest thing. Because no matter like how high of a level I am, it's an RPG, like Fallout's an RPG game, so you can love your characters. And how strong I am, I'm still scared to death to fight a single Deathclaw. I'm like, no, fuck, no.
This is interesting to me because, I mean, Fallout games are generally more action than horror. I mean, I would consider a small amount of them to be horror. Like, what specifically is scary about it? Just the fact that they can, like, totally fuck you up, or what?
They fuck you up. They look scary as hell. Their sounds they make are creepy. Their footsteps, you can just like know from their footsteps. And it just like their overall just how powerful they are. And like I guess it is maybe their strength, because like no matter how strong I've ever been in like Fallout games, I've always been afraid to take on Deathclaws, no matter what. Unless I'm fully decked out in a fully upgraded armor suit, then I would just easily go in and fight them. But most of the time, I'm not carrying a fully armored powered suit, so it's like, no. No. And so, like, they've always been the number one thing every single time I see them. Because, like, even with Condemned, it's always been after a while I play it, the enemies are like, okay, I got you now. So it's like, I'm no longer scared of them. The same thing with the Splicers. After a while, I'm like, I got you, so I'm no longer scared of them. And the Little Nightmares are like, the same thing with them. It's just like, all right, I understand you, and like on Long Arms, I know what you can do and what I can do to avoid you, so you're not as scary. But with Deathclaws and Fallout, it's like every time I see them, it's always just no. It just immediately just avoid them. Like I don't go up to fight them. I leave the area. So that's why they're like my number one.
That's interesting.
Which I think it's funny, and yeah, I know a lot of people were not expecting that at all. But yeah, just Deathclaws are just fucking terrifying creatures.
Yeah, I mean, to each their own for what scares you.
And I still think they're fair though. Like I don't think they're like overpowered thing. Like I think they're just also just like great design character in the game. You know, and just for me, it's like always a no. Like even in Dead Space, like the enemies become less scared of me because I have like a full arsenal of weapons and I know how my accuracy is better.
Yeah.
So that's my number one though is Deathclaws.
Yeah, that is interesting. I definitely I wouldn't have expected that. Well,
yeah, they always scare me.
All right. Well, my number one, which I'm gonna have to do some explaining because it's I don't know if anyone's gonna know him by his name specifically, but in Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, there's a monster when you're a kid called Dead Hand. So yeah, Dead Hand, and so I'm gonna briefly describe where you find him, and maybe this will make sense of where he is, like if you remember. But he's this creepy old white guy with, he's like a blob almost, and he's got this weird smile on his face, and he kind of like nibbles on you. But you find him when you're a kid, which makes it even more horrifying. and it's when you're looking for the lens of truth as a kid to enter the Shadow Temple, and you have to go down into the well. And the last thing that you face is this guy called Dead Hand before you get the lens of truth, and he just slowly walks around this room, and there's all these hands that stick out of the ground, and if you get close to a hand, it grabs you, and then this guy kind of does a little wiggle up to you. It's like, it sounds silly, but it's super fucking creepy. And then he leans in and just starts snacking on your face a little bit, and it's just like, it fucking sucks. That's all I can say about it. Like,
I would love to see a remake version of him, honestly. I remember him now, too. I'm looking at photos. I'm like, I would love to see an HD version of this guy.
Like, it's so creepy. Just, I don't know. It was the fact of, like, just everything about him, I guess. I can't even think of a single thing that was not creepy about this dude. Like, it was this guy at the bottom of a well, and he, snacked on little kids' faces. Like, that's fucking, folklore. I don't know. It's creepy. I can't even, put into words how messed up that was when I first played it.
No, especially as a kid, too. I don't blame you.
Yeah, I mean,
how
old were we when Ocarina of Time came out? We're 8 or something? I mean,
goddamn. I think so.
Horrifying.
But yeah, I remember him too now. I can't even forgot about him.
Yep.
Yeah, that guy was fucked up.
Yeah, Dead Hand. Not a cool guy. That's my number one, though. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in Legend of Zelda, though, that was legitimately creepy. Because I was looking over, and I immediately first thought of him when we said this list, but, there's
I was curious when you said as soon as we came up with it together, you said, I got one. I'm like, that was really fast.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think of other things in The Legend of Zelda that were legitimately creepy, and there's quite a few. Like Ongo Bongo, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, the final guy in the Shadow Temple who plays the drums. He wasn't conventionally a scary boss, but they had this really interesting thing where it was 2 severed hands, and they played this drum where just it was good percussion. It started doon 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 doon, and I mean, it's simple horror mechanics, but you get that impression of something is coming, and no, I always thought that was a really good I always thought that was just really good tension building. But no, Dead Hand takes the cake easily. I don't know, just fuck that boss. Yeah, so to recap my entire list, just I don't know if anyone cares, but so there's Stefano from Amnesia. No, the water monster from Amnesia, whatever we were calling him before.
I think called him Stanley.
I don't know. Then number 4 is Big Daddy from BioShock. Number 3 is Laura from The Evil Within. Number 2 is Lisa from PT. And number 1 is Dead Hand from Ocarina of Time on N64.
And then mine was Long Arms from Little Nightmares. Then it was the Splicers from BioShock. Then it was after that. Then it was Dead Space. The basic enemies in that one. They're called slashers. Stupid name. And then it was Condemned 2. The enemies, as the basic enemies, honestly, just the people in Condemned were just freaking creepy. But I guess the ones I take would probably be the mannequins. And then number 1, surprisingly, Death Claws. And then my honorable mention, though, is the bear in Condemned Origins, though. Do you remember that scene, Ben?
I never got to it, but I saw it. It's a zombie bear, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. You're stuck in a house with a zombie bear. I think maybe that's why the Death Claw... I just remembered it after I brought the Death Claw in the house. I think that's why that scared me so much, too, is because I'm remembering that time. You're stuck in this house, and you're just stuck in a house with a zombie bear. And it can get you anywhere, and you just have to outrun this freaking bear in a house, and it's just the creepiest thing ever. And yeah, if you want another good Halloween game to play, Condemned Criminal Origins is the top of the list there. That's the number 1 game you should definitely play for a good horror game.
I second that, and that's definitely a game with a time limit on it, because as of right now, it doesn't look that bad. It's a little blocky, like I said, but it's still playable. Yeah. But, who knows? In 5 years, that game could just look chunky and old as all hell. Play it while you're still going to enjoy it.
I agree.
And the game is like super cheap. I think it might even still be on Steam, but it's like super cheap right now. But I'm gonna have one honorable mention. Uh, it's a monster that's so scary that I didn't even bother picking up the game, and I know that I might get that we might get criticized for it if no one mentions it. But I'm gonna say the alien from Alien Isolation.
Yeah, I decided not to pick it just because it's more of a movie monster, so that's why I avoided picking that character.
Yeah,
I
and
played the game a bit, but damn, that game is super scary. I can't even beat that.
yeah, I mean, if we're talking about the scariest monsters, like uh, obviously our lists are made up of games that we've played. I haven't played Alien Isolation, but I mean, there's a good reason that I haven't played it. It's specifically because of that monster. So
I think I'm more scared. I'm not really scared of the monster. They're called xenomorphs in the end. I'm just a super alien fan, so that's why I know this. But the game's like atmosphere is super creepy in that. So it's not more of a scared of the xenomorph. I'm just more scared of just the whole entire damn game. It's just creepy as fuck.
yeah, so I mean, yeah, I would say honorable mention, like highest tier honorable mention. It's they did such a good job with that monster that I said
Yeah.
just fuck that game completely.
We should probably, when I'm back home sometime, we should definitely try just do it together. We'll try to do a recording of us together playing that.
All right, yeah, I'd be down for that. That's
I think it'd
fine.
be fun. So
Yeah.
I looked up though quickly. Condemned Criminal Origins is still on Steam, and surprisingly, it is $14.95. It's still like $15. I'm kind of surprised.
Well, I mean, at the same time though, it is a AAA horror game. Like I think a pretty
Yeah.
big company made it. It takes like at least 8 hours to beat or something.
The developers were Monolith.
Yeah, Monolith. Like that's a pretty big name.
Yeah, and the publisher was Sega. It's a good game.
Sega. That's a generally big name. No, I'm kidding.
The second one's not really scary. It's more base because you get a shit ton of guns in the second one, so it's not really a scary game, and it's kind of passable. The first one is definitely worth a play, though.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Agreed.
The combat in the game is a little stiff, but that's my only biggest gripe about the game, though, and it's something you should definitely pick up.
Yeah. All right. So that's our top 5. Typically after that, we like to do some sort of like a news segment or a rant, and this topic kind of covers both here. So earlier this week, I saw this on Reddit, but there was a thread on the subreddit games, and it was talking about how loot boxes in games are gambling, or if they're not, or what everyone thinks about that, because it's kind of a weird subject. Like, you know, these like in Overwatch, they've got loot crates that you can buy. In PUBG, there's crates that you can buy, and you don't know specifically what you're getting. You're not purchasing you're not putting money towards a specific item. You're putting money towards a chance at getting, like, you know, hundreds of different items, and some are super rare and some aren't. So in that sense, it is sort of like a risk. You know, it's not a specific item for what you're paying.
Which I think is bullshit, but in the end, though, I don't think it's gambling because you can't sell the items at all to other people. You can't even give the items to other people,
It depends
even
on
if
the
you
game.
wanted to. Can you give people? You can't do it. You can't do it in that game that you just said, and I'm driving the Blizzard game, Overwatch, and you can't do it in PUBG either, can you?
You
Or
can.
can you? You
Yeah.
can.
Yep, you can
So-
sell them in PUBG. My buddy rolled a crate, and he got he got these girl shorts, and he sold them for $150. And he said,
What? Okay, so then that's gambling in the end, though. See, that's where it's like if there's actual physical worth with the item, then yeah, that is technically gambling then.
yeah. And then like, so this is also a thing with like, obviously the biggest one is Counter-Strike Go. Like, Mike, have you heard of like CS:GO Lotto and stuff like that?
Yeah, isn't that? I thought they got rid of that though. They're trying to. I know that Valve is trying to get rid of all that stuff.
Yeah, so I can't speak for Counter-Strike specifically, but so I just wanted to cover my ass by saying that before I continued. But I mean, the point is that was technically a thing. If it isn't anymore, it was technically a thing back in the day. So is that?
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to clarify, I guess, is like,
So the main issue with it though is that the people that were pushing the product were not telling people that they were actually the owners of the whole thing with the Counter-Strike Go thing. And they were also faking like their wins too. So they were actually faking their outcomes to show like, oh, you can easily win all this stuff or all this money easily. When in fact they were lying about it, and they were actually fudging up the details. And so it's like huge illegal thing. And then it stepped onto, I think then I forgot what the government official is with all that stuff is, but I think then they also said it was also gambling. So Valve had to step in to take care of it since it was related to their brand.
But I mean, keep in mind though that that's only a single website that did that.
Yeah.
Like they
No,
were,
there was multiple websites that were doing it.
Yeah,
So,
what I'm saying is they were the only ones that were the only reason that they got in trouble is because they didn't specifically say that they were the owners of the website and that they were fixing the odds to help promote their website. They didn't get in trouble because of the act of gambling your like CS:GO skins or anything. They got in trouble because they weren't being honest with their customers.
yep. But I think Valve still cracked down on all the other websites though. Still, in the end, they stopped all the other. They're stopping them as soon as they can find them and all that stuff, and they send them cease and desist stuff.
So what defines gambling for you? Because you seem back and forth about it.
Well, no, for me, no. I mean, I'm not saying that what they were doing was gambling or not. I'm just saying that all those websites are being shut down anyways by Valve. Valve is shutting down all those betting things and all those trading websites where you can trade, where you can bet your equipment for wins and stuff. I'm just saying the fact about that is that even if it's gambling or not, Valve is still shutting down all the CS:GO stuff, all those gambling or whatever sites actually, as soon as they find them. But me for gambling is that gambling is where you put down something that has worth of value, actually worth of value of money, and you can lose and gain that item over a chance. And that's what basically gambling is. So, like, the loot boxes is technically not gambling. I still think it's bullshit because with Overwatch, you can't trade that item with anyone. All you do is put money into thing and hope you get something that's yours and only yours. But with PUBG, that's gambling because you get something that's random for a very cheap price and sell it for a very high cost. So that is technically gambling in the end. Because it's just basically just like a basic slot machine. You put in a quarter and you can come out with $20, you know? And that's gambling in the end. So like your buddy put in like $1 for a key to unlock the crate, right? And so you put $1 in and you got a $150 thing out of it. But I think it's just bullshit because like I just don't like loot crates. They're just bullshit thing of like I don't want to keep on putting points or money into something random. Just give me what I want. I want this skin. Just let me either earn the points to get it by playing the game, or just let me just buy it if I really want it. Like like Killing Floor 2, I bought a $5 skin. Do you know what skin I bought, Ben?
No.
I bought the hazmat suit skin.
Oh, the one that you used to use in the first game.
Yep.
Nice.
I found out they were selling it, and I was like, it's $5 for this one skin, but I want it. So I gave them $5, and I feel like in the end I don't feel bad because I have a lot of good memories with that skin, and I see the thing was I don't mind about that is like, all right, it's $5. I think it's bullshit, but I don't have to pull a bunch of random chances to get it.
Yeah. You know, I think that you make a really solid point where the second that you give worth to those items, being the second that you can resell them, is the second that it becomes gambling. Because otherwise, no matter how much money you pump into this thing, you know
You're
that
only
you're going...
lose money. You have no ability to gain money from it, and you physically know it.
Yeah, there's no gain. And as long as you go into that knowing that there's no gain, then, I mean, that's just... Like, that's...
Your own fault.
Yeah, like, that's like the crane game at the Walmart or something. Like, that's your own fault because, you know, you're not going to... you know that what you're getting is only going to be valued to you, the person that put, you know, quarter after quarter into that machine. You're not going to be able to have any more gain out of it other than, oh, I got this plush Mickey Mouse, or oh, I got this cool Overwatch skin or something. That's a pretty solid point.
And I'm willing to be fine with loot boxes when it goes up to skins. I think it's bullshit. I still think it's stupid. but in the end, I'll still buy the game. But when it comes into actually affecting gameplay, I disagree with it completely. I think it's the worst idea ever. For example, of Battlefront 2, there's the only way to actually level up your characters is to get loot crates in the end, I believe. And that's how you upgrade your characters, is by getting a random choice, and you have that random ability then to add to your characters. And the same thing with Mordor, the Shadow of War game. Is that the loot crates that you get can also affect your play on the multiplayer side, which I think is total BS.
Yeah, I didn't
So,
hear about that. So they're doing loot crates in Mordor?
yeah, so it's like, like we talked about before, that you can build up your army of orcs and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, there's ways to get super rare orcs that are really powerful, and that's what you do. And most of the time, you only get them through loot crates of a random chance, and so you only get a random chance to get a good thing. And what's the problem though with that I have with it is that people put money into that, and then once they go into a rank match, and then they lose their guy, it's gone forever. So they have to rebuy them. They have to re-chance to get them again in a loot crate, which they have to put money in for to get.
Okay, so sorry, just to recap, you can lose your orcs. You can
In rank
lose.
mode.
Yeah, okay.
So you can lose your orcs that you gained, that you got from loot crates in ranked mode. So apparently, I guess there's like a siege, like when you attack someone's base or someone attacks your base, and that orc dies during that, it's gone forever in ranked mode.
Damn.
And I have a problem with that because it's just like, well, people put money into it, and then it's like, and even though it's their choice, it doesn't make any sense. Why would they have that in there? I just don't get that.
Even if it was a paid thing, like even if I knew specifically what I was getting, what orc I was getting for $5, I would have an issue with that just for the fact that you lose it after you pay additional money for it. I mean,
Yeah, and it's like, oh, but it's ranked mode. It's only supposed to be for people. But if it doesn't make any sense.
there should be
It's
like a cooldown period or something.
I
Losing
I
it
guess so,
completely seems wrong.
but then it would make rank matches completely random then, because your rank wouldn't matter because you lose. Like if you won a certain match because of a certain orc, but then you lost in the next one. Wouldn't your rank then go down? So wouldn't your rank be based on how big or strong your army is and not how well you play? Because as soon as you lose an orc, you only get a random chance of getting him back. Then there's no solid specific way to get that one orc back, but by random.
Yeah, so that does put a lot of uncertainty on rank. It's like when people play Hearthstone. It's a trading card game that Blizzard makes, but you have a deck of 50 something cards, and people climb up their ranks by using the same deck of cards.
It's
Typically,
30 cards.
okay, yeah. Well,
The same. It doesn't really matter.
either way, you're not you might make small, minute changes to your deck, but realistically, you're not taking the best card in your deck and burning it.
Yeah.
Like if you have an orc in this game, Shadow of War, and he's like a pivotal part of your siege, and he dies, that's like throwing away, your ability, like one of your abilities in Hearthstone, or throwing away,
Yeah, and a random person too. So it's not like it's just like why isn't it doesn't make sense in rank mode? It's because so you get to a certain point because you have this orc, but then all of a sudden this orc dies, and so you don't have that orc anymore. But he's still an essential part of your team, so you're not the same army of that got to that rank.
I just
Even
want
if
to.
you,
Oh, sorry.
it just doesn't make any sense. It just mind boggles me.
I just want to make sure because I didn't read about this. You're absolutely positive that you lose this orc after he dies in ranked. Like you don't.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah, I can
nothing.
read
He's
that
just.
again.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about it for 5 minutes. I just want to make sure we are not looking like fools. But, that's a little crazy to me. Once again, if you spent points specifically towards getting an orc and you knew exactly what you were getting, and then you could build your entourage. You could build your entourage of orcs, and it'd be like making a Hearthstone card deck. Like you have certain guys that are good for certain things, but if you've got to keep re-rolling it every single time, and like that makes nothing. That makes ranked become kind of a shit show. Like no one's ever gonna have a perfect setup, because all their orcs are constantly dying. And when that's the case, the leaderboards of ranked are gonna differ not even every week, not even every day, but they're going to differ every hour depending on how much that person plays.
No, yeah, exactly. Let's see.
I don't know. That seems. I mean, I guess like on top of Shadow of War, there's like okay. So we talked about where you stand on that, Mike. But I guess where I stand with gambling, um, I guess I get worried about things like that. Like I've never done any sort of freemium games on like I don't play phone games too much or anything.
I don't have a single phone game on my phone.
Yeah, I tried to play Pocket Mortys and it seems all right, but this I don't know. Either way, it doesn't matter. But there's just certain things that really throw me off, and whenever people do mention like loot crates or whenever people do mention additional content, I mean, I guess I'm just kind of old school in the sense that like I expect to get a full game when I buy it, or I expect to like fully enjoy a game when I pay money for it. And I don't know. Sorry, this has kind of turned into a rant, but that really does throw me off. That like such an important pivotal part of this game being ranked relies on which orcs you have.
Yep, I got it right here. So, as like, don't mean to interrupt, but I'm just gonna read a small paragraph from an article from IGN. As reported by Eurogamer, attacking the social conquest comes into the number two flavors. Friendly conquest are dry runs. You're not at any risk, but the rewards are comparatively small. Sorry, I cannot read. In ranked mode, however, players will earn loot boxes and currency to buy yet more loot boxes upon victory. The catch. Any of your fellow orcs who die in ranked conquest are lost forever, even in the main campaign.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
I totally against that. It doesn't make any sense for a ranked environment, because even if you won the match, you don't have the same orcs that you won that match with, and you got the orcs by random.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense. So you should be a lower rank then for your next fight because you don't have the exact same setup as before.
Yeah, there's no consistency in ranked when the person that's number one faces every other challenger using a completely different set of orcs. Like even if 70 or 80% of your orcs are the same, depending on what they do or what like their specialty is, if it's like more shield or more damage or whatever, like it's never going to be the same fight that the person 5 minutes before you had with this dude.
And then you're fighting against people who that have unlimited, like some people, like everyone knows that a whale is called someone who just puts a lot of money into a game that has you can put money into. You come across a person that's a whale and they just dump a shit ton of money in the game and they just kill all your shit because they have way better stuff. It's like, how is that even fair then?
Yeah,
you know?
I guess that's another thing too. Is like Hearthstone, you can put a crap ton of money into their cards and you can get every card, but you have to also know strategy.
Yeah.
In Shadow of War, I assume that the orcs do their own thing. I mean, unless there's like a management system, but realistically, yeah, whoever just dumps the most money in, like those orcs are going to have the smartest AI and the biggest stats that it doesn't matter. Like you don't even need to know how to play. You're just going to naturally win because you put more money into it.
I think this guy's riding a dragon in Fortress mode. They call it like Fortress mode or something like that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So apparently I think you can even have a dragon too you can ride on.
A dragon orc? No. Is that like a Nazgul or something?
Yeah, Nazgul, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah,
my Lord of the Rings mythology or bestiary is non-existent.
Yeah, it's a Nazgul. He's just riding a fucking dragon. Yeah, Shadow of War using wild drakes to assault a fortress. So you can have a fucking dragon? Man. And it just like, see, I don't mind. See, the thing is, like, once again, you have the right to buy whatever you want, but I think it's stupid that you lose it forever then, because then it's like, it's just a cash grab thing in the end. I think it's bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, this transcends further than gambling. This is just straight up. I don't know.
It's like it's just like the old arcade machine. Instead of putting a quarter in, you're putting like what, $2 in every single time then.
Yeah, but
like, well, my army's in. I better put like $60 in.
Yeah, but it's like if you had to buy the arcade machine first and then dump money in every time you wanted to reach the high score.
That's actually a great example.
Yeah, Yeah.
It's
You have
actually
to,
a really good example.
yeah. I don't know. That bothers me, I guess.
It bothers me too, and I bet you it bothers a lot of people. And I'm not gonna be buying the game though. I think it's something that I hear a lot of people are saying it's still a good game, but I avoid buying these games because I do talk with my money. It's like sure if I don't like something, I don't like something one's doing, I'm not gonna buy it. But if someone's okay with it, I'm totally fine with them doing it. But in the end,
That's a good way to put it.
I choose the way because in the end, everyone has different opinions about stuff. And my way is like, well, I don't like it, so I'm not giving them my money. I think the game looks fun, but in the way they do business is not my way, and I don't agree with it, so I'm not going to put money into it.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair way to put it. Is, I think the game looks good. I think that just because there's this one feature in the game, I don't mean to like shit on the developers and everyone that took time into making that. That's not really my thing. But I think the way that you put it is the best. You talk with your money. If people see that the game is selling amazingly, well, then we're going to see this feature a whole lot more.
Yeah.
If less people buy it, then maybe the feature will be removed. It's like when Xbox One was first released and they said that the Kinect was going to be a constant feature. Well, everyone, suddenly PS4 anticipation was like, oh, everyone loves the PS4, Sony rules everything. And
then it wasn't only that, too, is that Xbox One was always going to be connected online, too.
Yeah.
And it was like, people were like, no, we don't want that. We're not going to buy that.
Yeah, and they were vocal enough, and they pretty much like canceled all their pre-orders and shit. That Microsoft was like, "Oh, sorry, we got drunk, and we said that what we really meant was none of that stuff is real." And now, now you can just buy the Xbox without all those dumb features. And
yeah, and it's like, remember, like they even said too, it's like, oh, you have to put in a code for every game you buy, so you can't sell it. And then like PS4 came in saying like, this is how you share a game. He hands the game to someone else, and he goes, "Thank you."
Yeah. There was the sharing, like borrowing games from friends and stuff.
Yeah, and so just like, I don't know what. And that was a great example of that actually works, And
well, yeah, because people threatened Microsoft by taking away their pre-orders and saying, like, I mean, I think all the review articles after that week at E3 when they first announced that, they were just. Like, there was so much bad press, and I mean,
they had no choice. They really didn't, because the PS4 was just wrecking. PS4 just ran with it, and Sony just ran with it, and they did a great job with it too. I think to just take advantage of the situation, and Microsoft had no choice but take it away in the end.
Right.
And that's like we said though. It's one of the very few examples of people actually talking with their money and it actually working. It doesn't happen often because many people don't have the ability to do that, they accept it. And it's like, well, I want to play the game. But it's like, well, if you want to play that and you don't like that and you buy it, a lot more people are going to do it because they think you don't actually care. Because in the end, money talks.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And then, I mean, we can start to like wrap up this rant essentially. But I do want to say that, Mike, I think for the most part, you've swayed me. I agree with you that... I really don't mind if people want to spend money on loot boxes. That's their own thing. I think that putting your money, like spending your money wisely, however you put it. What was the phrase?
Putting where your mouth is, or just spending it's your money. It's like, as long as, it's your money, you can spend any way you want to.
Yeah, I mean, I think people just have to think really wisely about how much that they do want this skin or how much they do want to do.
Oh, you're right. What I said was like, it's okay as long as they cannot sell it for a higher price in the end. There's no actual physical value for it, then it's fine. But as soon as your friend with the PUBG thing, he can actually sell it, I'm not okay with that. It does, because it actually puts a value on things, and it is actually gambling then, because you get more money out of it in the end. So
yeah, that's the incentive that worries me, is that my buddy didn't spend money on a loot crate. It was just a random roll, and so he didn't. It was like a cost-free $150 for him gain, and that's cool that he got that and whatnot, but. Like, there was no more... It didn't matter about the cosmetic item anymore. It didn't matter that he had, like, these booty shorts for his character or whatever they were. Like, when he rolled them, he was like, oh, I just made $150. And, like, we were like, why? And he's like, oh, I got these shorts. Like, the cosmetic didn't matter to him. I think he wore them for one game, and then it sold on Steam in, like, a matter of 30 minutes or something. And he was like, cool, I just made some money. Like, the incentive can't be for a higher financial gain. The incentive has to still be that there's value in that item.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, in the end, it should just be that it's complicated in the end because I don't like loot boxes, and I think they're a dumb idea, and I think people should stop putting money into them. I think it should
as
go back
you've
to
stated
yeah,
multiple times.
yeah, I know. It's just ridiculous.
Well, okay, yeah, but I think that we can both agree on that then. So, okay, interesting. I would say that I'd wrap up for that then. So, loot box gambling, obviously Mike and I are, for the most part, not okay with it as long as you can't resell it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Then
right.
it is just gambling. But now let's talk about games that are coming out or games that came out recently that we want to give notice to.
Yeah.
Is there a game that you saw that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, so we kind of jumped the gun the last couple weekends, the last couple episodes, and we've been saying games that are coming out like 3 weeks in advance. Well, like, I think I mentioned Mario Odyssey at the beginning of October, and it's like, cool, I could mention that for the next 3 episodes, or, we could try to bring something new to the table. So this week, Mike and I decided that we'd pick one game that kind of flew under the radar, essentially, and talk about that. So these, I think, Mike, yours is a Steam game too, right?
Yeah, mine's a Steam game, actually. And I actually brought it up before, I think the first or maybe the second podcast.
Yeah.
It wasn't out yet, but it's out now, and I actually picked it up today and played it. And I'm enjoying it a lot. It is a lot of fun, and the game's called Ruiner. It's like, what's that game called? Miami Vice? That one top-down game. Hotline Miami. It's exactly like that. I still like Hotline Miami more because Miami is more level-based game. You can go into an area and the enemy's already there, and so you just have to, there's a bunch of ways to do it, stealthy or non-stealth. Ruiner is a top-down shooter, but it's Gears of War style. When you go into an area, you kill the enemies, and you move on. And it's not a bad thing. I still like the game a lot, and the graphics are great. The characters in it are already. I've only played an hour and 40 minutes of it, and I already love the characters in it. I love the gameplay. I love the weapons, and it's more of like a bullet hell style game. But man, it is fun. And if you enjoy just like top-down shooter games, this is definitely something you want to pick up. But the basic storyline is it's set in the future where cybernetics is normal, so everyone has like robotic parts and stuff in them. And you're just this random person whose brains got hacked, and then this person is trying to use you to kill someone. But right before you actually get a chance to kill the person, this one woman saves you from doing it. She stops you from doing it, and then she informs you like, oh yeah, someone hacked your brain and they were trying to make you do this.
I think I've gotten an email about this before, along with like the Nigerian prince. Someone hacked your brain. If you give me $100, I'll, then you'll get $10,000 at the end of it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but then in the end though, she says like, oh, by the way, they have your brother though, so now we have to go save your brother. And so that's all you know about the character you play, and it's a lot of fun though. The gameplay is good. The weapons you use are really fun. It's really fast paced, and I'm playing on the hardest difficulty. And man, it is challenging. But they give you like 3 choices: easy, normal, and hard. And they said hard, like easy is you just want to enjoy the story, and they say normal is just like if you want a challenge and you want to have a fun game. And then on hard though they say like developers choice. It said on hard, so I was like, all right, I gotta play on hard. And man, this game is hard, but it's a fun challenge. And what's great though is that like once you die, all you do is hit R, and it instantly just puts you back in the game where you like the last area you died in.
Yeah.
Because like as I said, like it separates each area by like, oh, you're in this one area, kill everyone here, and then move on to the next part of the level, kill everyone there. So if you died in so you only start back into the last area you just died in, and you just fight that wave over again. But it looks really nice. It was only $20, but it's already worth the $20 I put into the game. And the style is great. The characters are funny.
That's a pretty big claim for. You've played an hour and 45 minutes, and you're already saying that just that hour and 45 is worth $20. It's It's a
I
pretty
already
big
can,
claim.
yeah, but I already know. Like, I can tell there's not much else to it, so I already know what I'm getting out of it, and I'm enjoying the hell of it. Especially with the music too. The music is really good in the game.
Okay. What kind of is it like techno or?
Techno, heavy metal, a bit, both.
Hmm.
It's like yeah, it's kind of like a techno future, a little bit hipster-ish, but it's really good. Do you remember
What's that?
Blade Runner? Have you ever seen Blade Runner, the old version? It's exactly kind of like Blade Runner universe.
Huh.
It's super good.
I feel like techno death metal. The first thing that came into my mind is like, you see like Deadmau5 on stage, and then he's like, with special guest Def Leppard. You know, like I'm trying to think of what that would sound like. You know,
I don't know. It's like the music is just really good. I just remember playing it because you die a lot in the game, especially if you play on hard. You die a lot, and so after a while, I started noticing music. I'm like, oh, it's so good, and just made me keep on going.
Yeah, I've always appreciated that. Why does it seem like all indie game or like a majority of indie games have really great music? You know, Bastion had phenomenal music, and Transist. Oh, you know what? Runer was made by those guys, wasn't it? Or maybe
let me go to the start page.
No. I got that wrong. Sorry. They made another game, but I was another game that recently came out, but that wasn't Runer. Sorry.
The people who made it was called Reckon Games.
Yeah.
And
okay.
this is the developers. So this seems to be the only list on Steam so far that they have put on Steam. But the publishers are Devolver Digital. So.
Oh, Devolver. Yeah, they've made a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they made a ton of stuff, and a lot of their stuff is good too.
Yeah, I like Devolver.
But yeah, they even did Hot Miami too. So
yeah,
Hotline Miami too. Sorry, Jesus, I cannot talk today.
Hot Miami. You like the hot.
I still like Hot Miami more, just because it just like the map. Like you can have more chance to use the map to your advantage. As Ruiner's more of a bullet hell game, but still a good game.
It's funny to me something. What? Sorry.
What? But no, that was basically it. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say it's funny to me that you mentioned that they had difficulty levels and it was easy. They had an easy mode. Maybe I'm an elitist, and I probably am, but who buys a bullet hell game to play on easy? You know,
I don't know. Yeah, that's like I can understand some things, but once again, this is a very simple story. You're going to kill whoever took your brother. That's it. God. If you have a brother, though, because I see for me, the thing is, I don't think we really have a brother because all of a sudden you're supposed to trust this one woman because she also hacked into your brain too as well. So for all you know, she's just making all this stuff up. So it's one of those things like I'm expecting a twist, but don't buy this game for the story. Buy it for if you really enjoy a good challenge bullet hell game that's fair. Ruiner's a good choice.
And don't play it on easy.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real point to it unless you just suck that badly, but you still like bullet hell games.
That's what I mean. Like, if Dark Souls came out and there was an easy mode for Dark Souls, like, what a fucking useless feature. Who's gonna play Dark Souls and be like, I don't want it to be too challenging, though?
I want to do it for the story. It's like, dude, just read the fucking wiki thing then for the damn story. Because they don't tell you anything. Like, none of your characters are told the story in Dark Souls, so it's like...
Have you heard of Wikipedia? You can wiki fuck off. Yeah.
I think it's kind of funny, you know. It's like some people, it's like, well, they just want to enjoy the game. Well, the point of the game is to be challenging. And like, sure, you know, you won't be able to enjoy it, but that's how the game was made.
Yeah, exactly. That's like if The Evil Within, I mean, I know that we've been kind of shitting on it, but that's like if The Evil Within had like, how scary do you want it to be? Do you want it to be really scary? Do you want it to be not so scary? And then like the easiest scary difficulty is like everyone's replaced by like clowns and fluffy rabbits or something. Like,
dude, that'd be even scarier. Honestly, clowns and fluffy rabbits trying to kill you? That's kind of fucked up.
Give me a hug, you know?
No! Just like, blow their heads off with a shotgun.
Yeah, like you're gonna play a bullet hell game. Of course, you're going to want to play the actual like difficulty in it. If you're gonna play The Evil Within, you obviously are playing it for the horror aspect. Like
Yeah.
you don't buy an adventure game. You don't buy The Legend of Zelda and it's like, how adventurous are you feeling today? And it just like cuts out half of the game, you know? Like
Well, actually, I was gonna play it on normal, but as soon as I saw it, as soon as it said developers preferred, I'm like, nope, I have to play on hard. There's no choice.
yeah.
If they designed it for it to be this hard, then yes, I'm gonna play it then that way.
Yeah, and like I'm glad that they did that. It's I don't know. Sorry.
It's the
We
first
already
time
did the rant section. My
Yeah.
bad.
It's just like it was actually I actually enjoyed seeing that. It's like, oh, the developers say to play it this way. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do that then. They made the game, so they know more than I do.
Totally. And it sounds like you're enjoying it. So, I mean,
Yeah. I like, man, the first boss I faced in the tutorial was fucking hard, but I got good. You know, it really forced me to understand the mechanics really quickly.
gotta get good.
And it's nice to have the fast restart. I mean, you just hit R and it just immediately puts you back in. There's no bullshit. There's no like, oh, you died. No, you just hit R and you're good to go, which is nice.
That's pretty cool. Um, if that's all that you had to say about that game, I might get into mine.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so Mike played his game that he talked about, so he obviously is going to have more to say about his. I didn't play this game, but I think I'm going to pick it up on the next Steam sale, maybe in the holiday season. But this game came out 10 days ago. It's called A Hat in Time. And I don't know too much about it, honestly, but I'm going to say that it's got an overwhelmingly positive rating on Steam, and people are saying that it's what Yooka-Laylee should have been. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what the heck Yooka-Laylee is, Yooka-Laylee's a game that...
Ben, no. If you don't know what ukulele is, just kill yourself. God damn, I cannot talk today, son of a bitch.
I'm just going to say that Yooka-Laylee was supposed to be like this spiritual successor game, and it just didn't live up to the hype, but it's supposed to be like a really good adventure game. People are saying that A Hat in Time is that game. Like, it's adventurous, it's playful, it's the word that people keep using a lot is it's very cute, which it like essentially I guess what it is you're this girl and you the graphics are really cartoony, but you play as this girl and you find all these different hats, and each hat has like a certain special ability, and then you use those abilities to like get through the level. Like I saw a trailer where like you have a marching band hat, and then like you can lead guys around, and it kind of like, you know, I would assume like in a stealth type of thing, you can like lead these guys around to like hide in plain sight, or maybe you've got to like lead them into to like press down a big button, or I don't know. I'm thinking like old school N64 games, like, oh, bring these guys to, you know, hold a button down or something. But I don't know. It sounded really interesting, and it sounded like a like a very original, unique idea, and
It looks really nice. I'm looking at some pictures of it.
If
It looks really...
yeah, I think it looks cool, but I was gonna say as a quick side note, if you don't know anything about me, it's episode 4 here. I should say I give heavy points to originality, above like a lot of other things. I think sequels and spin-off stories and whatnot, you know, they're all right, but if you can make a half decent original game versus you know, the same old, like, I'm gonna give you way more props for sticking your neck out trying like this
I'm the
more
same way,
interesting
too.
thing. So
And most of the time, too, like, I do not like sequels. Like, I love Bioshock 1. I did not care for Bioshock 2 or 3, even. I hated Bioshock 3. I'm surprised even people like Bioshock 3. But, yeah, I'm the same way with you, Ben. It's just, like,
I like Bioshock
originality
3.
is definitely more... You're an idiot.
I'm just saying that I appreciate originality a lot.
Yeah, same.
Like
And
I'm not
Same way.
shitting on sequels or spin-offs or anything. I'm just saying that if you
I am.
give me two games, one is a sequel and one is a completely unique different game, I'm going to give the completely unique different game more of a chance than the sequel, because the sequel, they're just going to use the same formula. You know, we've already experienced that game. I appreciate more for sure. Like, I love the heck out of Borderlands 2, for example, but I mean, you like, bringing something new and fresh to the table is so much better to me than something that I've already experienced. So, in that sense, I think that Hat in Time looks really good, and I mean, it just looks like a playful, fun story type of game. I'm not sure how long it is or anything, but if I remember correctly, it was going for $30 on Steam, and I mean that sounds like a pretty reasonable price. Once again, I'm probably gonna wait till it's on sale because I'm a cheap bastard. But no, I think I'm definitely gonna be picking that game up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I actually enjoyed. Yeah, it looks really cute. I might actually pick it up myself.
It does look really cute.
Not to feel like everyone else is sad though, but it's true. It's a very nice art style to it.
It would just be funny if, like, we look back at all the comments for this video and people are like, that was a really cute segment that you did at the end there. It's just really cute. You know, I'm digging myself a fucking hole by saying this shit. I don't know.
Well,
fuck you, audience.
Honestly, so honestly, though, we've been going on for about an hour and 50 minutes. So I think it's a good time to give it a close. Ben, do you have any videos that you made recently that came out or no?
No. But okay.
Yeah.
So my new channel.
What time you think it's gonna be coming out then?
I don't know. I don't want to rush these things. But so I have a YouTube channel. It's called Dissection of Design. And right now I'm playing through The Evil Within 2. And I'm making a review video. I'm going to make some parallels between the first game and the second game. Obviously, you got a hint of what that is, what my opinions are from this podcast. But that might be coming out later this week. Probably later this week. Yeah, check it out.
And for me, really, I'm not really making any videos or much posts. I'm mostly just focusing on just our podcast and working on the social media stuff. So I'm trying to put stuff out in the future, but my main goal right now is just to really understand more of the social media side stuff and just getting our websites put together and all that stuff. So look forward to Ben stuff, and then look forward to more updated versions of our websites and our content from me. Hopefully I can put more effort into it.
Yeah, if you leave like comments or anything, Mike's probably going to be the one chatting with you. But
yeah,
in
I
fact,
usually try to keep track of everything.
Yeah. In fact, though, if I ever like respond to anyone, I'll just be sure to write my name. But otherwise, I would say just default think of Mike whenever whenever you get like a comment back from us or something. Mike, try to be nice.
I will. I promise. I'll try. I'll mostly probably ban people or just block them if I can't think of anything nice to say.
Blacklist him now.
Well, once again, I'm Michael.
Yeah,
and
I'm Ben. Thanks for watching We Can't Code. Yeah. That was a shitty falling apart ending. We're both just talking over each other. No, this is number 4, bro.
Oh shit, yeah. Alright, that's it. Bye.
Get out of here. You're fired.
You're fired.